Welcome to the Sledgehammer's Edge Power Pack. In this Power Pack, I'm going to share with you 9 sledgehammering tips to create an awesome team. You know, in these 4 decades that I spent in the corporate world, meandering from a management trainee to a chief executive officer, I encountered several team leaders who spent a lot of challenging times either trying to build a team or maintain a team. And let me tell you, all of us have gone through that, including me. But it's very important to understand that, as Richard Branson once said, you take care of your team and your team will take care of your customers. And that is the truth. Is the real truth. It's your team that actually takes care of your entire business, not you. So therefore, how do you bring about an amazing, efficient cohesiveness and bonhomie in a team? So let's get to my whiteboard and let's see what I have here for you. The 9 sledgehammering tips to create an awesome team. What's the first tip? Don't just be a leader. Be a positive, transformational catalyst. Everyone needs one. Let me tell you, whatever your designation is as a leader, it only exists on your visiting card. You are not a leader, you are a transformational catalyst. Your responsibility is to transform every human being in your team, their efficiency levels, their result-oriented passions, their thought processes, their negativities into positivities. Remember something that's very, very important. Your team will have probably a longer lifespan in their career than you will. And you are not only responsible for grooming them to be effective team members in just their tenure in your organization, but for a lifetime. And that's what transformational catalysts look at. So your responsibility as a person in charge of a team doesn't end with just what is required or the KRAs of your team's existence just within your organization. Be a transformational catalyst. Tip number 2, don't compromise on integrity. Dishonesty, according to me, is a disease. Remove the tares from the wheat. You know, in my entire career, I have never ever sacked anyone except when it came to dishonesty. And in those almost 40 years of my journey, I've only fired 5 people. I used to take my own interviews for my team, selecting people to be in my team. And I would tell them very frankly, look, if you are inefficient, leave it to me. I'll make you efficient. If you are laid back, slow, don't worry. I'll ignite wonders within you. If you have a problem understanding things, don't worry. I'm there for you. But if you are dishonest, there's nothing I can do for you because it's a disease. And you will never be able to exist with me for very long. So, point number 2, don't compromise on integrity. Sledgehammer 3 tip, don't talk failure. You know, this word doesn't exist. No one fails. They just discover ways that don't make things work. And this is exactly what Thomas Edison had once said. He said, I've never failed in life. I've only discovered a million ways that don't make things work. And let me tell you, that's a damn good thing. Because the more ways you discover that don't make things work, your probability ratio of discovering things that do make things work just gets better and better. So failure isn't something wrong. It's a normal process of discovery. You discover ways that make things work, and you discover ways that don't make things work. And it's perfectly, perfectly all right. Sledgehammer Edge tip 4, change is constant. You know that, and I know that. But also know that there will be resistance to it. Change is constant, and so is resistance to it. Don't nag. Just see them through it all. The more you nag at them, the more they will resist. Stick with their resistance and slowly change their perception. Because change is always, always very positive. Change is always for the better. And as a team lead, don't nag. Understand why they are resisting and help them. Sledgehammer Edge, tip 5. Don't keep telling them what to do. Listen, they have the intellect of their own. They're not retards. You'd hate it if someone kept telling you what to do. You know what? There are 8 billion people living on planet Earth. And like everyone's fingerprints is unique to them, so is their path, their journey. It's unique to them. You cannot achieve things the way I do, and I cannot achieve things the way you do, and yet both of us can achieve the same results. So don't tell them what to do. Give them the freedom to do what they feel they should be doing. That's the only way they will learn. And let me tell you, they will never fail. They'll just find ways that don't make things work. And it's all right. Sledgehammer's Edge, tip 6. Be quick to praise. Very, very important. Be quick to praise. Very few team leads do that. Don't bring your personal inhibitions into appreciating people who are doing a good job. Appreciation is always done immediate. It helps to keep bonhomie alive. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like to be appreciated? Immediately? Acknowledged for what you've done? Everybody does. So do I. So do you. Be quick to praise. Sledgehammer's Edge, tip 7. And this is getting interesting. Teams will be teams. Let them bunk from work sometimes. Listen, we did this in school too, didn't we? Let me tell you one interesting story. In one of my teams, I had a boy from the north. I was working those days in Delhi, who came in one evening after a supposedly hard day's work and started telling me all the clients he'd met and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I heard him through. And then all that time, I was watching his pocket, his shirt pocket. And he was wearing a white shirt. And I could see a very familiar orangish-looking papers in them. And after he finished, I just reached out into his pocket, took it out, and they happened to be 2 movie tickets. And all I said was, "Hello, dude, how was the movie?" It's all right. Nothing. Your bottom line is not going to get affected. In fact, everybody needs a break. Otherwise, Jack's going to be a very, very dull boy. Right? Now let's get to Sledgehammer's Edge. Tip number 8. Always, always lend your shoulder to rest a tired head. Remember, she's not only your team lead, but also a daughter-in-law, a wife, and a mother. And this goes for the men too. Everybody has their personal setbacks. Everybody has their personal stresses. Everybody goes through turmoil in life. And when they come to you, their team leader, It's not easy for them to put everything away behind them when they exit their homes and enter your office. No, it's not easy. You know, when I was in the corporate world, my first half of the day would be spent on just understanding what everybody is doing, whether things are working on plan, whether production is doing the right thing, whether the sales is going okay, whether HR is comfortable. Post lunch, I would be on a PR journey with each of my people all the time, understanding what their stresses are, whether they were having problems, whether their children are having problems, whether education, whether they had financial stresses, whatever, and whatever I could resolve, I would do it. Because they're the team who got the business in place. And it is so important for all of us to understand this. You are nobody, absolutely nobody, without your team. The situation will be so electrifying that you feel you're nobody without your team, and your team should feel they're nobody without you. And finally, the most important tip for you in this power pack: gratitude always pays rich dividends. Thank them. Thank them always. I used to have this, I would always do something at the end of every month. During my time, we were always paid in checks. We didn't have electronic bank transfers and all that. And every time, number one, I would always collect my salary after everyone on my team was paid. And number two, every time I get my salary check in my envelope, I would call my entire team or go across to their work areas and sincerely thank each one of them for having paid me my salary. That's very important, because let's face it, your team is your lifeline. Your team is your progress. And your progress is your family's progress just as much as your team progress is their family's progress. So it's very important to understand, to bring about this cohesion, this attachment, this fondness, this togetherness, this bond. Gratitude is very, very important. Extremely, extremely important. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes by Halford E. Lecoq, and he says, "No one can whistle a symphony. No one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it." How true that is. So there we are, the end of the first, or this particular power pack. Reach out to me. Reach out to me on my email ID there if you want to know more about how to handle your professional life. Just send me a mail, or something you'd like me to talk about, or something you'd like me to be very specific about for everyone, not just you. And I'll be so, so, so happy to craft another power pack just for you. So then, it's been awesome having you. It's been absolutely awesome having you around. Hang around for my next power pack coming up.